Namaste, Dan. Namaste. Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Akash Rajpuria with the second session on object-oriented programming in advanced Python. So in previous session, we have understood what is self, how to write a init, how to start a class, how to create an object. This is done. Now we will see one very cool, interesting example, that is school management system. We are going to see school management system using object-oriented programming. So let's go directly into the screen and let's understand. Okay. So now we are going to understand object-oriented programming and school management system. So simple thing we will start with. So we'll start with a class, and C should be small. And the name of a class, where I'm writing school here. It can be different school, or let's say we are writing here for a particular student. Okay. Now inside that, I would just simply write def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and self is required. You know that every object will call this, so self is required. Then after that, we will need some basic stuff like self dot total days. Self dot total days, how many days the school was. Let's say the school was of only 100 days. Okay. Now after self dot total, I would just take here self dot marks, let's say attendance, self dot attendance, and this would be passed by the user. So present, I would write here how many days he was present, that I'm storing in the attendance. Okay. Then after this, okay, we are going to also create for that user its username. Okay. You know that every college has that username. Like for example, I was in Bits Pilani. So Akash Rajpuria @Bits Pilani it was. So same way, every user would have, every school would have its own username. So we will create that also. So we would take the name of a student. So along with the present, we are also going to take the name of a student. So self dot name equals to name. Okay. Now we have initialized all the basic things: total attendance days, presentee, and the name. Now it's time to create our first function. Like normally how we create, see that if I want to calculate attendance, I would use your def attendance calculator. Okay. And I would just take here parameter, the number of present days, and then I would calculate it just simple. If so, I would first calculate it percentage equals to present divided by total days. Okay, present divided by total days into this complete part would be in 100. So I would multiply that. So that would, I would get the percentage. And you know the basic check I would just do here, if percentage equals to or greater than equals to 75, I would just print here, okay, the name of a student, name of student. You can sit for exam, or else I would just write print. I would write here print, you are disqualified. Okay. Now let's copy this same function. Now see the difference, exactly what I'm saying, explaining you. So I would copy exactly this, put it down. Okay. But understand every function requires self. Okay. So self is required. So I need to write here self. Okay. Then now once we write object oriented programming, we don't need to write in this way present part. I already have the attendance for that person. I can take that from init. That is the reason we have init. So I would directly take it from here. I would remove this present. And instead of this present, I would write here self dot attendance. And for total days also, I would take this self dot total days. Okay. Then we will get the percentage here. We will check it. And then we will display here the name of a student. So name of a student inside this curly brackets. And we will write F, and inside that self dot name. Now what is this F? This F stands for string formatting, which means that I can directly pass the username, the variable here. Okay, I don't need to like write concatenation or comma. I can use that in double quotes. So self dot name student is Akash. So it would be like Akash student, or let's say Akash, whoever is the name of the student, is allowed to appear appear for exam. And we would also say, let's say, best of luck to him. All the best for your exams. Okay, simple, we have written. And same thing you will write here. Okay, you are self.name. We will write in the same way so that self.name is disqualified. Simple as that. Let's try to run this. So I would run this percentage. It is saying that expected an indentation block. Definitely yes. So we'll move it forward. So now student, we will create, okay, we have a favorite student for us, that is Gajodhar. So we will write here Gajodhar equals to student. And inside that, we don't need to pass anything, but we need the name of a person. So we would write the name is Gajodhar. Okay, and then we will write how many days he was present. He was 87 days present. Simple as that. Let's run it. Okay, so all the things are set now. Now see, like I explained you, init is automatically called, but attendance calculator is not automatically called. Same way like we have Gajodhar, we would have, let's say, Ballu also. Okay, and we will do exactly the same way, student, and the name of him is Balvinder, and he is only attended 45 days. So it is very clear, everyone agree that Gajodhar is the hero. He is allowed to sit in exam, but Ballu is not. So we will check it. So we would write here Gaju dot attendance calculator, and see, the moment you run this, you would see that Gajodhar is allowed to appear for exam. All the best for your exams. So this is basically, this function is called, it is calculating that, okay, 87. You can also print the percentage here. So let's print the percentage for exam. And after that, we would just write here the percentage that is inside again. So see, whatever I would write in curly brace, and if I write F, I can directly use inside that variable. So right, like now I would use this percentage here. Simple as that. Run this and see 87, he is his attendance, 87%. Okay, I would write percentage also after that. Okay, all the best for your exam, 87. And we would write this percentage here is appear to appear the exam. Okay, and he got 87% in that. Same if you check for Ballu, okay, you would see that he is not allowed to sit. Balvinder is disqualified. So it is taking the name that we have provided. Now, same way like you have created this attendance calculator, you can create one more function that is def, and that can be very simple, very simple. Username creation. And again, inside that self. Okay. Now, again, you would do it very simple, that we would just use here the name of a person. So that is self.name. Okay. Plus, we would give just simple, we would just print here. And let's say our school name is dancingmonkey.com. Okay, so @dancingmonkey.com, we will just add his name plus this. Okay, we need to check that whether that name is okay. So there is some camera issue. Okay, Sasta setup. So we will now continue it without camera after this. Okay, so coming back to the part, yes, so we have understood these two functions. And username creation, we are just creating a username. We can write all that if and else statement to check if that username already exists and give another name. But we are making it simple right now. So self.name this part. So if I run this, now see, if I just say here, I want Gajodhar's username. So I would just write here username creation. And that's it. We got Gajodhar @dancingmonkey.com. Same way, like I can do it for Ballu also, and we will get for Ballu also. Okay, so this was all about your class methods. Okay, how you can create the method. Every method would require self. Simple as that. Now, the next concept that we are seeing in the same session is of very interesting. Now, see, whoever the students are, whether it is Gajodhar, Balvinder, Charminder, Manvinder, anyone, they would have the same instructor. Let's say Akash is the instructor for them. So we would write the instructor on the top. Instructor. Okay, and I would say that the name of that instructor is Guruji. Okay. Okay, XYZ Guruji or whatever the Guruji is, whatever Guruji. So now we would use this. This is the common between all the instance. Understand, whichever value is common, whichever value is common for all the objects. So like how many students are there? They would have only one instructor. They cannot have different instructors. So you would create that on the top, and this all like self dot total days, this are called as object variable. Object is also called as instance. So they are called as object variable, or you can also call them as instance variable. And which you create here right now, this is called as class variable. Class variable. Very important. Now, when I run this, and one more function I would create, that is class function. Let's say if I want to change this instructor, whatever Guruji, we want the reputed Guruji. Okay, so let's say def change instructor. Now see, whenever you are only using the class variable inside this function to change the instructor, tell me, to change the instructor, do I require Ballu object or Gajodhar object? No, I would just require this class variable. So whenever you only require class variable, whenever you only require a class variable, you would use class method. Okay, and class method is defined like that, @class method. Like this you need to write on the top, and inside this you need to pass CLS, like you pass self in the object variable, like in the object methods. Okay, these are instance, they are called as instance method, or you can also call it as object method. Both of them are same. Okay, now inside this I would just change it very simply, and I would write here instructor equals to now official Guruji. Okay, I'm changing it to official Guruji. Yeah, so like we are changing here from instructor to official. Okay, official Guruji. So something we are randomly changing this. So let's keep it. So now if I create an object, let's say another students we are taking, this time we are taking Chaman. Okay, and now Chaman equals to, let's say, the student, object of the student class, and we need to give a name for it. So now I cannot say after Chaman, so I would write here Aman, and the what we want percentage of his presentee, that is, let's say, 99%. Okay, now so we created an object for Chaman. You know that you would get the username for that Chaman also. So chaman.username, and you would get the username for that person, aman@dancingmonkey.com. Then you can check the instructor for this Chaman. What is that? So you would just write, now see, you need to use for this instructor, you can write Chaman.instructor. Also, you would get the name of Guruji, whatever Guruji, or you can also write here the class name, that is student.instructor, and still you would get the same. This is basically the class name. So it is class name dot class variable. Okay, and this is object name plus dot class variable. So you can access that. Now let's change the instructor for all of them. So I would just call here. Now to call this class method, you need to use the class name. Class name is student dot, and the class and the function name for that is change instructor. So I would call here change instructor. That's it. Instructor is changed. Now if you check the instructor once again, okay, you need to change that using CLS dot. You need to write here CLS dot instructor, so that it would change for complete class now. And yes, if I run this, you would see that now it is changed to official Guruji. So after you call this function, okay, the class instructor is changed completely, and it is official Guruji. So in short, just to summarize, there are two things: object method, which every object uses it; class method, only class uses that is student. So like I have used here student to change that. To call that function also, I have used here class name dot class method. So you need to remember this. Class methods are only used when you want to use class variables and no other instance variable. At that time, you use class method. Same way, like you have class method, the last thing that you have in this session is static method. Now, what is the static method and what is the use of the static method? Static methods do not take anything like not class, not self. Okay, it is just like used for helper functions. Like if you want to welcome someone, I don't require object for it, I don't require a class for it. This is just like a helper method, that's it. So anyone can call it. So you can call here student dot helper method, and that method would be called, they would say welcome. Or you can also say class name, object name, sorry, that is Chaman dot helper, and that would also give you the welcome. So this is static method. Static methods are just used to do the basic printing stuff, or just like a helper function that does not require class variable also, object variable also. So this was the complete session. What we have understood here: how to create a class, how to write multiple functions inside it, how to use self, how to use class method, how to use static method. If you really like it, then only subscribe. If you do not like it, just leave a dislike and mention in the comment what you didn't like. That's it for today. Okay, we will see the next thing now: inheritance, operator overloading, operator overriding, encapsulation, abstraction, everything we are going to see in this after the session one by one. So that's it. Keep smiling, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.